YouTube family, welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here, then welcome. And if you've been here before, then you know the deal. So, I know I didn't do it on my last few videos. I'm trying to be more consistent, but we want to go back to our card pulling today. So I've already shuffled and pulled cards out so that way we can just kind of get into the topic of the video afterwards. So I have the Make Yourself a Priority. And again, if you're new here, I'll just do a quick rundown. I typically pull from two decks. One is like a self-care deck. The other is like a positive word of affirmation. So one will be an action, one will be a quote, and that would be our like mood for the video. This is stuff that you can do after the video or anytime during your downtime. So let's see what we got. I'm going to start with the self-care one. Okay. So we have do one thing at a time. And I don't know if you can be able to see it because I do have like a different setup now. But do one thing at a time. And the world needs your magic. Okay. So I think these are two great cards, especially with the topic of the video. I got my juice here. I'm ready if you're ready. So let's get into this. Okay. So, as a quick rundown, I am actually 4 months and 14 days post-op. I don't know why I've been saying like 5 and 6 months. I've just been counting November as a whole. But if you were to count directly from the day that I had the surgery up until now, it has been 4 months and 14 days since I've been sleeved, right? And within those 4 months and 14 days, I have lost 70 pounds. Because I'm so happy and I'm so proud. But into the topic of the video. So I do have my notes here. So if you do see me looking down, I just want to make sure that I stay on track for everything. And I don't forget anything or don't run over any time. So let's get into it. Body dysmorphia is a mental health condition in which you can't stop thinking about defects or flaws in your appearance. Okay? So, and this is not like the regular insecurity that everyone gets from time to time where they see something that may not like, or there may be a part of their body that they're not like fully, proud of, or they want to change, but it's, it's not that. It's literally like when you're looking in the mirror and you have an over exaggerated version of yourself that is not true because you're going through within these 4 months of weight loss surgery. I've definitely had episodes of body dysmorphia. I am experiencing hair loss, as I covered in my last video. Stalls. Disclaimer: if you are a bariatric patient or you are thinking about getting bariatric surgery, anything that I say in these videos is only my opinion. I am not in any way, shape, or form a professional or a medical provider. So always, always, always go to your doctor or your provider for any real diagnosis. I am just giving you my opinion and my experiences. Okay? Body and to cope with it. So speak to a professional. Okay, so my job has free therapy sessions for pretty much, I think, 16 weeks or something like that. And I am definitely in the process of speaking to somebody professional about what I'm going through, excuse me. And for those who may be going through a similar outcome, you need to do the same. Okay? And I understand that therapy is not for everybody. So if you do not want to go to therapy, then I would suggest finding somebody who you can vent to, finding a support group, finding someone who, granted, if they're not licensed, they cannot take the place of a professional, but at least having someone in your circle to talk these feelings out will be highly beneficial for you. Avoid triggers. So avoiding triggers meaning social media, some television shows, some articles, like some magazines, stuff like that. Like, avoid even conversations. If you know that you have like family that talks about your weight pretty frequently too, that is a form of a trigger that I feel like you should avoid. Or if you cannot avoid it, definitely establish boundaries, you know? And setting up a boundary around a conversation revolving your weight will sound something like, thank you for your opinion. However, at this time, I do not want to discuss my weight right now with you. And that's the polite way of saying it. If you ain't that politically correct, you can just let them know to shut the fuck up. Point blank, period. So that's on you as to how far in that spectrum you want to go. But setting boundaries, okay? Social media. Social media is my trigger. And it's hard as somebody who is trying to be a content creator to avoid social media, you know? But it is one of those things that trigger me. Now, granted, I am not talking about IG models and like, you know, those fit like models or whatever they're called. That's not my trigger. What the fuck? But yeah, social media is one of my triggers. And it is the people who've gotten weight loss surgery like me that is one of my triggers. And I know y'all gonna be like, Cassandra, y'all are in the same boat. How is that triggering you? And it's triggering me because it's like I will see people who may have did the surgery, like, you know, they're like 7 months post-op or 6 months post-op, and they're like, oh, I'm 110 pounds, I'm 120 pounds, I'm 140 pounds, you know, post-op. And I'm like, well, I'm only 4 months post-op officially, and I have only lost 70 pounds, and these people are, you know, 5, 6, 7 months, so not really too much, you know, ahead of me, and they've already lost 120, you know, 100 pounds, 140 pounds, and I'm just like, well, what am I doing wrong that I'm not catching up to these people? And I'm not at this point where I'm hitting a goal like for mines, you know, milestone in the same period that I'm pretty much in myself. Is just like, you're not doing enough. But then I have to pull back and realize it's not that I'm not doing enough. That has nothing to do with it. It's a matter of, this is my journey only, and I can only write how my journey goes. And there's other factors of other people that to take account of, like how strict is their diet, or what is their starting weight, or the type of surgery that they had, because, you know, not everybody is a VSG patient. It's more popular now, but like, you know, some people still get the bypass, and there's other forms of it. So, you know, there's a lot of other things to take an account of, that I have to take account of, and remember that you can't worry about anybody else's journey. You have to worry about you and making your story the way that you want to direct the narrative of your life story. I'm trying to remind myself here that regardless, you are at a point now that you wished for, you know, 4 months ago, 6 months ago, a year ago, you know, and you have to be grateful for this moment right now. So avoid those triggers, set boundaries, criticizing yourself too harshly. So as you can see, I we all can be our own worst critic, because that little negative voice in your head can do a lot more damage than you really think it actually does. You know what I'm saying? Like any lower vibration of fear. You know, sometimes criticism isn't really criticism. Sometimes that negative voice that you're repeating back to yourself is not criticism, it's fear. And the only way to get over that is to figure out what exactly you're afraid of and conquering that. And for me, my fear is being a failure at this weight loss surgery. Because then, if I fail this, then that means there is something else going on internally with me that's beyond weight. And even outside of that, I feel like that is a very valid point for a lot of people as well. But we'll get into that on a different time, on a different video, because I do want to keep this in line with just tips and tricks for this topic. So, of expectations, okay? And what I mean by letting go of expectations is whatever expectation that you had for yourself, for your weight prior to the surgery, toss that out the window. And come to this on a blank canvas. Because you only had an expectation because you didn't understand what the journey actually entailed. And now that you're writing the story of your brand new life after the surgery, you need to just enjoy the journey, okay? And that doesn't mean to just let life hit you and just like whatever. But sometimes you just have to figure it out as you go. You can't plan for everything. Go as we speak. You know? I am heavily one that has preconceived notions of how things should be instead of just looking at what the reality of the situation is. And when you let go and take a step back and look at the reality and the totality of everything, it gets easier. It gets so much easier. So let go. And give yourself grace when you fuck up. You're going to fuck up. It's okay to fuck up. You know why? Because when you fuck up, you're going to learn what not to do the next time. Before I started this whole raw thing, for anybody that's following my Instagram, I'm doing a raw diet for the month of April. Let's just get that out the way, okay? So, before that, it was the last day of March, and I was like, yo, I want a cookie. And any bariatric patient know, unless it's like a protein cookie or something like that, you shouldn't be eating it because you can't have that type of sugar, right? So I was just like, well, it's one cookie and nobody will know, and I'm doing this, raw diet tomorrow, so let me just get this in and I'm pretty sure I'll be fine, whatever. And guess what? As soon as I finished the cookie, I threw it all the way up, and it was like the most horrendous, like, it was just bad. It was just bad, okay? Like, I've had dumping syndrome before, but I've never had it like that. And I feel like that's because I deliberately ate something that I knew I wasn't supposed to be eating. But you know what I'm not going to do next time? I'm not going to indulge in sugar because I know that was something I wasn't supposed to do. But you're human. You're going to fuck up. You're going to mess up. You're going to make these mistakes. And if anything, these mistakes are going to help you the next time around, because you're going to remember the outcome of the mistake and try to avoid it as much as possible. Give yourself some grace. Pour some love into yourself. Okay? And as cliche as that may sound, you're going to need it. I need it. There's days where I feel the lowest of the low, and I just want somebody to be there for me. I want somebody to help me carry this burden. I want somebody to just be there for me and coddle me and pacify me. And that may happen some days. I may be able to get that type of response from, individuals that are close to me. Excuse me. I may be able to get that response from individuals that are close to me sometimes, but everybody has their own shit. And nobody can be your babysitter 24/7. You have to know how to pick yourself up. Okay? You got to pick yourself up. And that love that you want somebody to give you, that attention you want somebody to give you, that coddling that you want somebody else to give you to make you feel better, you have to be able to give it to yourself. Because what happens when they're not around? What happens if they can't? What if they're not in a position where they can both look after them and you? You know what I'm saying? So you have to be able to give this stuff to you. Pour the love that you want others to give to you back into yourself. And it may be easier said than done, but you gotta do it. What I've seen on another bariatric, I believe it was on a TikTok. Basically, it was like, she said she was a therapist. Now, if she really was, I don't know, but we're going to take her word for it. She said she was a therapist, and what she had recommended for bariatric patients was to find things that you like about yourself in the mirror. So when you're going into the mirror and you're pulling up your shirt and you're looking at your scars, or you're looking at your rolls, or you're looking at your stretch marks, or you're looking at whatever just is an eyesore for you, take your attention off of that and find something you do like and fixate on that. So me personally, I love my eyes. I love my eyes. I love the shape of my eyes. I love the color of my eyes. I just really, really love my eyes. I feel like that's one of the best features on my face, or body. I love them. So when I find my days where I'm like, oh, I'm looking at this, I'm looking at my scars, I'm looking at my stretch marks, I'm looking at my rolls, I'm looking at, my bat wings, I'm looking at all this stuff that is making me feel bad about myself. I have to remember to divert that attention and stop giving that any type of energy, and remember, like, well, look at your face. Look at your eyes. Look at yourself. Look at this. You love your eyes. Fixate on your eyes. Look at that. I like my smile. I don't do it often as I should, but I do like my smile. So I'll smile at myself in the mirror. And I'll remind myself, these are things that you like about yourself. And then when it comes down to like going down to the other parts of your body, you're just like, well, I'm going to have loose skin, or I'm going to have this. Yeah, you may have loose skin, or you may have, like your stretch marks may be more apparent now that you're smaller because, you're shrinking, and that's already where the skin had been stretched. But you have to remember that this body that you're molding into now was the same type of body that you were hoping, wishing, praying for X amount of time ago. So, back to what I was saying before, gratitude. You have to extend grace and gratitude on your journey. You have to be grateful for every single milestone that you have taken, because there was a time where you wished for this. You prayed for this. You hoped for this. You wanted this so badly, and you were willing to give up everything. You were willing to go underneath the knife and change your anatomy, your inner anatomy, just to have this. And that's something you just have to remember. That this was what you wanted. and you're getting exactly what you wanted. And you have to be kinder to yourself. This world is hard enough as it is. This world can be mean. This world can be a lot. Why even give yourself more of that when you don't have to? And your inner thoughts and your inner being can be a place of love, instead of inflicting more self-hate, more negativity, more depression, more everything else that you can get from outside from a stranger. Give yourself that love. We all deserve it. You deserve it. So I'm going to end this video off there. I was trying to keep this a little short, but I do think it ran over a little bit longer than I wanted it to, but that's fine, because I feel like there's somebody out there that needed that message, okay? So thank you guys for watching. Please comment, like, share, subscribe to my videos, hit the bell so that way you can be notified whenever I upload a video. I know I have been shaky with the uploads lately, but you gotta give me time. I'm trying to get into a schedule and work-life balance and all that stuff. But I'm getting there, and go ahead, yeah, I think that's it. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you on the next one.